Kia ora whānau, and welcome to another episode of Get a Job and Get Healthy with Costas Enterprise. This is a well overdue episode. Unfortunately, I have been a little bit slack the last 5 weeks since my last episode. I did say at that time I was going to talk about a giveaway. I'm going to be honest, I've had a little bit on my mind and haven't really thought about much about the giveaway, and my original plan was to give away a MetaMask, but at the moment that's been a bit of a change, so that's not going to happen now. So it'll probably be something along the lines of giving away myself as my services, and if you want to enter that, you're more than welcome to. I will try to think up the results by next week, and hopefully have another episode for you. This episode's going to be more about, what's been going on in my life, what's changed, what hasn't changed, why I haven't been so active. Before we get into it, what we will do is we will just talk about the very happy things, which is how you can get in touch with me, how you can view my stuff, and all the other fun, enjoyable things. So first and foremost, you can always email me at doncostas@gmail.com. That's DON for Nike, COSTAS @gmail.com. You can contact me via my Instagram and my Twitter, all of which is @thekiwidon. I'm more than happy to hear from you guys there. And finally, the last thing you can do is you can actually also go to my website, which is www.costasenterprisebusiness.blog, and you can sort of read my previous blog posts that I've posted about the stuff. And yeah, so let's go through what's been happening. So first and foremost, I am currently going through a bit of a it's not a breakdown, it's more a emotional mountain, I suppose we could call it. Something has happened in my personal life which has, just over the last sort of 2 weeks, which has basically drained me both emotionally and physically and mentally. It is to do with my mother. Unfortunately, she is quite sick. She was in hospital because she had a fall, and was in for a week, and of course that puts a lot of strain on me, going in and out, and it's not exactly the easiest process, also going from sort of her place in Miramar to my place in Brooklyn, then to the hospital, sometimes multiple times in a day. And so when she came out, it was like, yay, she's come out, she's feeling better, and then 2 days later she went back in, this time with pneumonia, and as you guys know, she is quite sick. We didn't realise how sick, and when they called me, when she came back again 2 days later, they were basically saying that she is effectively on her deathbed, and I thought it'd be best to sort of talk about this stuff because, as you guys know, you are like my counsellors, and as such, I like to talk to you guys about everything. And yeah, it was very much like it was a very hard experience. Now, at the moment, she's still not out of the woods, so there is a possibility, but it's been a couple of days. It's been about another week since all of this sort of happened, and as such, she is kind of on the mend, but they don't want to officially say yes or no. It's been quite hard on me. It brought back a lot of feelings about my father when Dad passed away. I had to be the bearer of bad news to a lot of people and call them and let them know that Dad had passed. This time it's more, I'm calling people to say, hey, there's a possibility Mum could go. Is there anything you want to say to her, just in case? And yeah, we've had a lot of love come from the people that are close to Mum, and some that are not super close to Mum, but still, good family members or good friends of Mum. And so yeah, it's been really. It has been really draining, very hard, processing with the emotions. I know with my last sort of podcast I think it was last episode, maybe the episode before, I was talking about how I felt about with my father, and that I had, I always had ongoing concerns with how he might have felt about me as a man and growing up and all that sort of stuff. It brought back a lot of that sort of thing as well. My father sort of passed away before I got a chance to grow up and before he got to see me become the man that I am now. In this instance, it got me crying because it was not so much that, but it was my mum potentially going before she'd have a chance to see me get married, have kids, that sort of stuff. And, for a family like our family, it's a very big thing to carry on your traditions, to carry on your line of having kids and having a marriage and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, it was very hard, and it was because of her medical issues. It was, we were looking at putting her into a home and, being told a little bit later that, hey, no, she may actually pass away. And it was like, oh shit. So, before me taking any time to actually realize how impactful that was, I was like, wait, what do I do? Do I have to move back home? Do I have to, do I still sell the house like we were thinking about doing to pay for the care? But like what do I do? And so all of these emotions, all of these thoughts that I didn't even think were and should be popping into my head were, and I'm going to be completely open and honest. I was crying pretty badly, which is also a different thing for me. Since I started going to the counsellor, that's when I started opening up. Usually I would be holding this shit in and I would cry behind closed doors. I wouldn't tell anybody. Now I'm in the position where I know I have to share that stuff and say, hey, look, I need to talk to someone, and I need to say, hey, mate, I really need a shoulder to cry on. I really need a hug, And so I think as a man, going through the journey that I've been going through recently, it's really, really huge that more men hear that. More men hear that it's okay to have, these feelings, and it's okay to share those feelings. I am a big avid believer in that as well. As I said, at the moment we're still not out of the way. We're still not out of the works, and that's only been the last 2 weeks. And the previous sort of 3 weeks, I've been thinking, what do I want my next podcast episode to be? I was planning on making it this big. Well, we'll do a giveaway. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. I sort of lacked off a bit and just sort of thought, I want to focus on doing what I'm doing. One of the things I did do is I was a bit busy with my course that I was doing. I have finished my first paper in the Starting Your Own Business course. I was really, really lucky. So I'm going to be the first to admit that I am really stupid when it comes to these things. I don't study over a couple of months. I study the last night, the day it's fucking due, or the day before it's due, so I can do the assignment the day it's due, which is exactly what I fucking did, didn't it? Not really the best idea. I'd had this big plan. Each time I submit assignment, I'm not doing that again. Next thing you know, here it comes. Alex goes, oh yeah, cool. Oh shit, time. Next thing you know, it all goes to shit again. So I submitted my assignments. Overall, for the paper, I got a total of 91%, so an A+. It just really helped knowing, like when I was writing my answers, I got told, I got a lot of 100% for my Module 2 assignment. I basically got a full 100% of everything that I did. They were really happy with what I submitted. On my third assignment, which was Module 3 and 4 of the Starting Your Business, I actually, because I did exactly what I said I was doing, I left it to the last minute. I couldn't actually finish it. And so had I finished it, I may have gotten a full 100 or very, very close to it. And I ended up getting 89%. So I had my first assignment, I was 84%. My second assignment was 100%, and my third assignment was 89%. But I think if I'd finished it, I would have potentially got a 94, 95, possibly 100, which is quite good. But it helps me realize that, I can study this way, and I now know how to present my arguments when I'm writing something. So it has been quite helpful to me doing that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, really happy to get the 91%. It gave me that little bit of joy, that little bit of happiness that I was needing, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do everything. I actually thought the way things were going with Mum over the last couple of months, that I had done the wrong thing by even signing up to a course, and I'll never get to finish it. But I pushed through, and that's what I know I need to. And so the course's part 2 has just started up, and as I've said, I am literally physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted. So I won't be starting that sort of today or tomorrow. I will try to start it on the weekend. I've basically been going to the hospital and working from home in the hospital, which is an interesting experience in itself, given that you never actually get the right Wi-Fi and all that sort of stuff, which is nothing against the hospital at all. You've got to remember that they're not required to provide free Wi-Fi, but they do, and it doesn't have to be a massive amount, but I appreciate what's there. So yeah, it's been an interesting experience, trying to get through everything, breaking the news to my team on the weekend. So all of this pretty much happened over the main big thing with Mum mainly happened on Thursday last week, so exactly a week ago, when I was planning on getting everything sorted. For those that don't know, there was you guys know that I like playing Fortnite, and what I had done was I had to cover, it was Saturday, wasn't it? Saturday. Basically, I covered the cares that Mum needed for one of the days that her worker was a little bit sick, unfortunately. And I said, yep, cool, I'll cover it. I was already tired, but then that night I was like, right, I have to level up in Fortnite. I've got to hit level 200 because the new season starts at 7 a.m. And I was up till about 2 a.m. playing Fortnite, trying to level up, doing what I was doing. And then I get a call from the doctor basically saying, hey, you need to come in. It's pretty serious. She has pneumonia. And I was like, where the fuck did she get pneumonia from? It's like they've suggested that it came from home, but realistically, she was in the hospital most of the week before, up until 2 days before, so I doubt very much that it came from home. I feel like it's more like she picked it up while she was in hospital. So yeah, it's been a very, very weird couple of weeks. As I said, I've been pretty full on, but also really tired. I've noticed a few things about myself that I'm not happy with, including my eating, my weight, and just my general feeling of meh. So I'm working on trying to change that as well. It's just one of those things where I know I need to make those changes, and now it's just making those changes and going through with them. I miss my partner incredibly at the moment. There's nothing more I want to do than hold her in my arms and just, cry in front of her, like just hugging her so that I've got that support. It's actually quite hard to, being where I am at the moment, where I don't have my support network around me. It's very, very hard to sort of keep a brave face and all that sort of thing. And we've got our new manager at work, and it was like literally our first meeting 9 o'clock on a Tuesday when we all come back from a public holiday. I'm like, oh yeah, so by the way, Mum might be dying, and I'm working from home at the hospital, and I'm an emotional wreck at the moment. So yeah, I apologise if I'm an arsehole, basically, because that is what one of the things I've identified with myself is when it comes to grief, when it comes to loss, when it comes to anything like that, I can become quite abrupt and quite an arsehole, and I don't know how to deal with it that way. Now, that is only since I started going with the counselling. Before that, I'd push it aside. Yeah, guys, I'm fine. I was not fine, but, I would tell people I was fine. So, realising that about myself and going, hey, guys, just a heads up, I can be a bit of a dick when this sort of thing happens. I'm probably going to be that way for a little while. I apologise in advance. I've noticed that I've talked about this before with my father's passing and the anniversary. Usually around the anniversary, I feel I'm exactly the same way. I'm a bit of an arsehole. I'm not going to lie. I'm very abrupt. I can't really take people's shit. And if you want something from me and it's not really important, or it's minuscule, it's not something that I really care about, I will usually just palm it off and not do it, or I'll wait till I feel better to do it. It's been a bit, it's something that I am trying to work on, but it is still one of those things that I am trying to work on. And trying being the operative word. Other than that, business has been okay. I've had a couple more ideas of stickers and stuff that I'm going to do, and I'm trying to sort of build those. I am primarily focusing on doing what I need to do to keep myself mentally safe, given the stuff that I'm going through with Mum, but also trying to get her prepared just in case. The doctors have sort of told me that now that she might be back home in about 5 to 10 days, which is very surprising given what they were saying before, but they're still saying it's touch and go. So it's kind of like being told, oh yeah, you got this nice hot pie, but it might be a little bit cold on the inside. So you're like, well, is it hot or is it cold? It's like, oh, we don't really know, but it's hot or cold, So a stupid analogy, I know, but it's the best way I can think of it at the moment. It's like you're in that sort of area where you're being told one thing, they're telling you also another thing, but until you bite, until you know, you don't fucking know. So it's really, really weird, and not the way it should be, but hey, that's life, unfortunately. I'm using all of my past experiences to try and make her comfortable, to try and also be a bit mindful. One of the books that I was reading a while ago, it was basically talking about, it's a very Zen book, it's a very Buddhism type book, and what it is it's basically learning to let the person go by giving them permission to go. And some of you out there will listen to it and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And other people were like, you can't let them go. It's like, well, no, you have to learn to let them go. Like, you have to learn to give them permission to leave. If they are in pain, if they are sick, if they are not well, consciously, without telling them, you don't have to tell them, but if you can tell them, it does help. But you kind of have to let them go and let them know that they are allowed to go. Now, you can do that via many ways. You can talk to them, you can tell them, you can, and this is where we sound a little bit airy-fairy, but trust me, it's out there. You can give them permission to go through your aura, through your feelings, and also through your mannerisms. Like, you try to make them as comfortable as possible. Every time you leave them, you if you leave the room, you tell them that you love them. You say there's nothing more to worry about. They if they need to go, they need to go, and not to hold on to anything. Like, I'm going to be completely open and honest here. At the moment, the only thing my mum sort of has around her is me. There's not much else. Like, we don't have grandkids, we don't have anything like that. There's no auntie, there's no uncles, there's no brothers or sisters to hang on to. There's no husband, there's no aunties, no uncles, not really. And so I was reading in this book that, it's if you can give them permission to go and also believe it in your heart as well, then, it will, if something does happen, then it happens, and, they can know that you were at peace and they were at peace as well. Like some people, they, without knowing it, subconsciously, they hold on for, whatever subconscious reason that they're thinking. And if you put their mind at ease when they're in pain, when they're sick, it's like you're giving them that power back so that they can go, you know what, I'm not well. I would be better off somewhere else. And that's hard to sort of come to that realization in that moment that I had to go, you know what, I remember the last thing I said to my dad was, I love you. And I kissed him on his forehead as I went away, and then he was driving. That was it. That was the last thing I said to my husband, last thing I said to my dad. There's nothing else I could say. There's no more else I could say in that moment that would have been better than I love you. And I said it. But I still feel guilt. And I feel guilt because even though I said I love you, and I meant it, of course, because I do, I loved him, I never got a chance to, follow up on what he wanted me to follow up on. He was a photographer. He was a leather worker. He did all of these little hobbies, and I never showed an interest. So that's something that I've always got to, live with, is I never got that. I never took the interest. I never took that time to sit with him and learn about his hobbies, learn about what he is that made him the happy guy that he was at times. He was sometimes very angry, but for the times when I saw he was happy, that's what it was. And so with Mum, after I acknowledged that, I started taking an interest in, some of her things that she's into. She's into jewellery and gems and all that sort of stuff. And, I got an interest in jewellery and gems and all that sort of thing as well. But we knew Dad was sick. And if I'd read this book back when I was 18, I wouldn't have understood it. I understand it now, obviously, because I've grown up. I've realised. But at the same time, I don't think the man I was, the boy I was, let's be real, I was 18, would have been able to accept and to say, you know what, Dad, I know you're in pain. I give you permission to go if something happens. I remember many times seeing Dad sitting lying in a hospital bed, tubes in his mouth, tubes in his nose, IV drips in, like after each heart attack, water retention periods. Like he was a very sick man. And if I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, I would hold his hand as my 18-year-old self and say, Dad, I love you. But I would have thought, if you need to go peaceful. Don't hold on. I'll look after Mum. And I wish I had the courage to do that back then. But I'm proud that I was able to have the permission and the courage to do that now. Like, my mum might pull through. I know this is sounding very bad, like she's going to go. I'm being a realist. I've spoken to 2 doctors since it happened, and one doctor was like, look, it's imminent. I've had the other doctor say, look, she could come out, but. So it's very similar, like, I'm being realistic that I would love her to be okay, but she's very sick. She's got a lot of problems at the moment, and yes, I hope she pulls through. I hope she gets better. But it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that's the sad thing. And so saying to her that, because she was completely spaced out when it happened. And for the last couple of days, she doesn't realise how bad she is and how bad she has been. She's like, oh, they were saying I need a thing. It's like, Mum, you're on oxygen 24/7. You know, like, you've got to realise you're not well. You've been bedridden for the last 7 days. Like, you can't literally move out of bed. Oh, no, but the doctor said I'm going to go home. I said, well, the doctor said you might go home. But everyone else is saying probably not yet. So it's like, having to deal with that as well is pretty hard. Like, knowing that you may never go back to your home. But then little things were popping into my head, like, oh my God, that's the last time me and Mum would ever go for a drive. Oh my God, that's the last time we would ever, you know, have dinner together unassisted. Like, I'm feeding her at the moment. Like, she literally can't hold the knife or fork properly without coughing and sputtering and all that sort of thing. So it's like, I'm realistic. I'm being completely open and honest that I'm surprised she's lasted a week. And I feel bad saying that. I feel bad thinking that. Like, I know I should be like, no, she's going to pull through. But if I don't at least wake myself up and go, hey, she may come through, but then when's the next time it's going to happen? Is it going to be 2 days later, like this time? Is it going to be a year from now, a month from now, a week from now, a day from now? Like, I have no idea when this is going to happen. And she's just too sick for us to do much about it. Like, they basically said to me, the ICU turned around and said, we will not take her. Her heart's down, her liver's down, her kidneys are down, her lungs are filled. Like, half of her lungs have the infection. Half. And this is in a week this developed. Because they showed me both chest x-rays. Like, it's scary. It's scary. And so I'm still in the mindset that I just want her to be comfortable. I want her to be healthy. I want her to be happy. But also, I understand. Like, she's not well. She is not well. So it's mentally preparing myself for what's could come. Do I want it to come? No, of course not. I want it to be around for, you know, me and my partner's wedding, me and my partner's kids. But she's just too sick. They can't pump the bacteria out, because if they do, she's on oxygen for the rest of her life. She's on dialysis for the rest of her life. We don't want that. She doesn't want that. I'm not going to stop her. I've got enduring power of attorney. Now, for those that don't know, enduring power of attorney kicks in when you're when the person that you've got enduring power of attorney has an incident. It needs to be activated and all that sort of stuff. So at the moment, it is not activated because she's still in her right frame of mind. She's still able to cope for herself. But at the same time, I've been having little thoughts about, like, oh God, what's going to happen if they ask me, do we turn off the oxygen? Can I answer that? Can I even fucking consider that? Like, you know, it's not an easy place to be. It's not an easy way to think. And as I said, I don't have my support network. My mum is one of my support networks. My partner is away, and most likely to be away for a couple of months. Like, there is a lot going on. And so, yeah, it's really got me thinking a lot about what to do next. But I'll keep through it. I'll keep doing what I can, and I'll try my best to be the good son and make her as comfortable as possible, and, you know, everything like that. Because if I'm not, then what am I even doing what I'm doing for? You know? Why am I even doing what I'm doing? So yeah, I mean that's what's been going on in Alex's mind and thoughts. So I'll try to think a bit more on the giveaway stuff. I mean, this is episode 94, I believe, maybe 95. It'll be in the show notes basically. MetaMask is changing quite significantly. Jump along to their Discord. The link's in the thing. Shout out to my MetaMasks. I haven't told them any of this stuff yet. When they listen to this, they will probably figure it out. And yeah, it's a great support network. I love the support network of the MetaMask community. We're all for one for all. My other support network, like I talk to my partner every day. I have to, otherwise I go insane. I have contacted my previous boss, who was my other support network. She's been fantastic. She's been like texting me every day, like, "Hey, are you okay? Do you need me?" You know, and some of my other friends who I haven't heard of from years are texting me like, "Bro, are you okay?" Like, you know, it's huge. It's huge, and I can't say thank you enough to them, because at the end of the day, like, they are my family, they are my support, they are not just my friends. I have no other family. I've got my mum and me, that's it. My cousins, I don't talk to them, so they're not part of it. I've got some Australian cousins that I know a little bit, but they don't know everything that's going on. So yeah, fun times at the Costas household, I suppose you could say. I don't expect anything from anybody as well. Like, I don't expect anybody to hit me up and be like, "Hey bro, you're okay, I got you." You know, like, I know you guys are listening, and to me that is more than enough. I really appreciate you guys listening, because there are times when I just need to vent, like what I'm doing now. I've been talking for 32 minutes on this shit, and I haven't really had a chance to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to keep this shit locked inside. But if I do that, then you know what? I go the same way of old Alex. And I don't want to be old Alex anymore. The guy that keeps everything in when he really should go, "Hey guys, I need help. Hey guys, I need to talk. Hey guys, is anybody there for me?" Because I know you guys are there for me. Now, you don't have to be physically there for me. You don't have to call me. You don't have to text me. You don't have to do anything like that. Just listen. Listen. That's so huge to me. Because if I don't have you guys to listen to, then I'm stuck in my own mind. Which, my own mind is an interesting place. It's not a fantastic place, but it's a place. But I want to say, as always, thank you guys. I love you, as always. And good luck. More details on the prize giveaway, hopefully next week. It will be before my 100th episode, which is coming up. What more to say? As I said, I love you guys. I truly do. And goodbye.